Okay, so it is April 11th, 2026. We are here at the rededication day of the Emancipation Statue here in Lincoln Park. This is Ken Rose. And do I have permission to record this interview today?
You do.
All right. Can you just state your name for the camera, please?
Sure, Sharon Jackson.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Sharon. So what brings you to the rededication day today?
I am here because this is an important event. It's good to remember our history, and I always commend the Park Service for being a big part of that.
Good. So you're already familiar with the Lincoln Emancipation Statue, is my understanding?
Yes, I am.
All right. So how do you feel about the statue and its place inside of this park?
I think that this is an important historical artifact, not only for how the statue was funded. First $5 were contributed by a formerly enslaved black woman, but also as a part of the Washington community, particularly this community. A lot of people do come here, and certainly the placement of the statue gives an opportunity for people to learn a little bit about the history of Lincoln and the history of emancipation.
Now, how do you feel that the statue represents Lincoln, or even the enslaved people that are featured in the statue, or the enslaved people in which he freed during his time as president?
Okay, well, I mean, obviously, emancipation was a wonderful thing, so I am completely happy about that. I know that there has been controversy in the past as to how the gentleman is depicted. Fortunately, people become more sensitive to things, especially imagery and how things are depicted, and I think we are now in a moment when there is more sensitivity to some messages that could be conveyed. However, that being said, I do think that it shows the important role that President Lincoln had in ending slavery through the Civil War, and also, even though he did not live to actually see it to completion, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, which were critical to integrating African Americans into the larger American society. I mean, it's work that's still being done, but it was critical to have that beginning.
And what is your feelings about the portrayal of black people in the statue, or freedmen in the statue?
As I said, thinking about the time that the art was created, and as Frederick Douglass himself said, certainly it could have been a more accurate, if you will, description of a black person. But again, it was important to express the larger idea about the end of slavery and Lincoln's role in achieving that.
Now, just to pivot a little bit, are you from the DC area, DMV area?
Yes, I am.
All right, so did you already have experience with the statue before today?
Yes.
Okay, and what was your particular relationship or understanding of the statue growing up in this area?
It was something that was very well known to me, even in childhood, and understood through my family of what the statue represented and what the ending of slavery meant to African Americans, and Lincoln's role in it. My parents made sure that we were very well schooled in that. So, again, certainly it could have been different, but again, the larger message about Lincoln's role and about finally the achievement of that after having endured, about 80 years of slavery being permitted in the United States, that's important.
So do you think that it is more important or more significant to change the image of the statue, or do you think that the message that the statue represents should be what is changed for?
The statue, again, thinking about how the statue came to be and the fact that it was funded in large part by African Americans to honor and acknowledge Lincoln. I think part of what we see these days is just a fuller description of things, and certainly I think that is appropriate, but I would not want to see the statue go away simply because I think it's important to recognize the role that African Americans had in placing the statue here as a memorial to President Lincoln. Although it wasn't the first depiction of the assassinated president after his death, it was one of the earlier ones. Certainly it was here before the Lincoln Memorial itself was completed. So again, I think that it's definitely possible to explain to people, you know, how it is that it is the way it is.
So we're here in Lincoln Park. We have, again, obviously the Emancipation Statue of President Lincoln, and we also, right across from him, we have the statue of Mary McLeod Bethune as well.
Yes.
Are there any other statues that you would hope to see be built in this park or in the DC area? Maybe a group of people that isn't as heavily represented as others?
Yes, I think that a fuller acknowledgement of the various roles played by people, both famous and maybe lesser known, is important to a full understanding of history. Do I have someone in particular in mind right now? Not really, but I mean, I think it's a general concept. It is a good thing to acknowledge people that had very prominent roles as slavery ended and in the ongoing process of African Americans being fully integrated into the larger American society.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sharon, for your time. I appreciate your answers to these questions.
More than welcome.